With the 36th pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the Brooklyn Nets select Adu Thero from the University of Arkansas.
Body's perfect. If you were trying to build a basketball player, a wing, you'd want him to walk off the bus and look like this. The question is, what else does he bring to the table?
The Los Angeles Lakers may have just uncovered their next developmental success story. On draft night 2025, Rob Pelinka executed not one, but two trades, moving up 19 spots to select Adu Thero with the 36th overall pick, a player their scouts had graded as a first-round talent. This is the story of a 6'8" athletic marvel whose journey from being sent to Mali as an infant to becoming the Lakers' latest project embodies everything about finding a diamond in the rough in the NBA draft. What makes Thero special isn't just his 41-inch vertical leap or his 7-foot wingspan, it's his combination of elite athleticism, defensive versatility, and a family basketball legacy that suggests that his ceiling remains untapped. John Calipari, who coached him at both Kentucky and Arkansas, made a bold proclamation before the draft. He's somebody that if you pass on, they'll look back and say, how many people passed on him? He's just that good. So before we get to today's video, make sure you drop, like, subscribe, and turn on our notifications because we are bringing you the latest NBA news and analysis throughout the entire offseason. If you want to make sure you're up to date, make sure you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and X as well. And now that we got all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Adu Thero's story begins with an almost unthinkable sacrifice. At just 2 months old, his parents, both college basketball players struggling to balance parenthood with their athletic careers, made the heart-wrenching decision to send their infant son to live with his paternal grandmother in Mali, West Africa. It would be 3 years before the family reunited, but this early separation laid the foundation for a basketball journey unlike anything that you've ever seen. You see, Adu's parents weren't just athletes, they were legitimate basketball talents. His father, Amami, played college basketball under Coach Cal at Memphis before transferring to Duquesne, though his career was cut tragically short by blood clots, a torn ACL, and a fractured tibia. His mother, Mariam Sai, was even more accomplished, starring at Oklahoma City University, where she averaged 16.3 points and 9.2 rebounds while shooting 54% from the field. Her dominance earned her the 33rd overall selection in the 2006 WNBA draft by the Washington Mystics. When Adu finally returned to the United States at the age of 3, the family settled in the Pittsburgh suburb of Sewickley, Pennsylvania. There, surrounded by basketball DNA and driven by his parents' unfulfilled dreams, young Adu began developing into something special, though nobody could have predicted just how special he would be. The most remarkable aspect of Thero's development was his physical transformation. As a high school freshman at Quaker Valley, he stood just 5'7", a full foot shorter than his eventual college height. This massive growth spurt created unique challenges and opportunities. While other prospects were refining their games, Thero was literally learning to play in a completely different body. Thero's high school career at Quaker Valley reads like a script that Hollywood would reject for being way too unrealistic. Despite playing for his father's small AAU program rather than the major circuits and dealing with the COVID interruptions and the challenges of his growth spurt, Thero would put together one of the most dominant prep careers in Pennsylvania history. His statistical progression tells the story. Thero had 17.7 points as a sophomore, 21.8 as a junior, then an explosive 23.3 points, 10.3 rebounds, 5.9 assists, 3.9 steals, and 2.3 blocks per game as a senior. That final season saw Quaker Valley go 27-1, with their only loss coming in the state championship game. Thero scored a school record 44 points in a single game and finished his career with 1,624 points, good enough to be the third in school history. Yet despite these incredible numbers and accolades, including WPIAL Player of the Year and Pennsylvania Class 4A Player of the Year, Thero remained criminally under-recruited. Major programs overlooked him due to his unconventional AAU path and late physical development. Rivals in 24/7 Sports rated him as just a 3-star prospect, though ESPN saw something more, giving him 4-star status. The Kentucky offer came late, facilitated by his father's connection to Calipari and high school coach Mike Mastroianni's relationship with the Hall of Fame coach. For Thiero, it was a dream come true. He'd attended 2 Calipari youth camps and grew up idolizing the program. Little did anyone know that this was just the beginning of the remarkable ascent. Thiero's college career perfectly exemplifies the patience required to unearth diamonds in the rough. His freshman year at Kentucky was underwhelming on paper, just 2.3 points per game and 9.5 minutes per game across 20 games. But those who watched closely saw flashes of defensive brilliance and athletic explosions that hinted at greater things. Year 2 brought modest improvement to 7.2 points per game and 5 rebounds per game, despite battling back spasms from his continued growth. The highlight came against number 1 ranked Kansas when Thiero exploded for a 16-point, 13-rebound double-double, showcasing the two-way impact that he could provide. He led Kentucky in blocks despite limited minutes, earning praise for his dog mentality on defense. But it was year 3 that revealed Thiero's true potential. Following Calipari to Arkansas, freed from Kentucky's loaded roster and given a featured role, Thiero erupted. His numbers jumped to 15.1 points, 5.8 rebounds, 1.9 assists, and 1.6 steals per game, while shooting an impressive 54.5% from the field. He led Arkansas in scoring, rebounding, steals, field goal percentage, and free throw attempts, a statistical dominance rarely seen from a player who'd been a role player just a few months earlier. The advanced metrics paint an even more impressive picture. Thiero's 1.259 points per possession in transition ranked in the 96th percentile nationally. He converted 63.6% of his shots at the rim, while recording 45 dunks in just 27 games. His defensive metrics were equally as impressive, forcing turnovers on 8.5% of opponents' possessions while providing switchable defense across multiple positions. Then came the setback that may have actually helped him fall to the Los Angeles Lakers. A hyperextended left knee against Missouri in late February sidelined Thiero for the final 8 regular season games. Though he gutted through 5 minutes in the Sweet 16, the injury limited his pre-draft process and likely scared off teams picking in the 20s. Sometimes the best diamonds need a little bad luck to fall into the right hands. Despite Coach Cal's public campaign declaring Thiero as a first-round talent, despite ESPN calling him perhaps the most explosive player in the draft, and despite mock drafts consistently projecting him in the early second round, Thiero sat and waited as 35 names were called before his. The reasons for his slide are both obvious and overblown. Yes, his 25.6% three-point shooting as a junior is concerning in today's NBA. His 28.4% career mark from deep on limited attempts suggests that shooting will determine whether he becomes a star or a role player. Teams also worry about his late season knee injury and whether his explosive athleticism would return fully, but context does matter. Thiero's shooting struggles stem partly from his dramatic growth spurt. His hands and muscle memory are still catching up to his 6'8" frame. His free throw percentage of 68.6%, while not elite, suggests that a decent shooting touch could develop. More importantly, his other skills are so elite that shooting becomes the only question mark. Consider what teams passed on: a player with a 7-foot wingspan who can guard 4 positions, an athlete who recorded a 41-inch vertical and whom coaches described as hitting his head on the rim, a defender who averaged 1.6 steals per game while shooting 54.5% from the field, a competitor who improved his scoring average by 8 points in one season when he was given the opportunity. The pre-draft process saw Thiero projected everywhere from 23rd overall by optimistic evaluators to 43rd overall by skeptics. Most mocks had him going 33rd to Charlotte or 35th to Philadelphia. The Lakers, sitting at 55, seemed to have no chance at landing him, and that's when Rob Pelinka went to work. The Lakers' acquisition of Thiero required the kind of aggressive maneuvering that separates good front offices from great ones. Pelinka didn't just make one trade, he made 2, spending over $2.5 million in cash considerations to climb from 55th to 36th overall. First, the Lakers sent the 55th overall pick plus $2.5 million to Chicago for the 45th selection. Then, recognizing that Sacramento had interest in Thiero at 42, Pelinka immediately flipped that 45th pick plus additional cash to Minnesota for the 36th pick, where Brooklyn selected Thiero before trading waiving his rights to Los Angeles. The aggression speaks volumes about the Lakers' evaluation. According to Pelinka, Adu was projected by our scouts as a first-round talent. We were able to turn 55, which is a late second-round pick, to a high second-round pick to pick a player that we had projected in the first round. So it's almost like having the first-round pick that we traded out. Pelinka's scouting report was even more revealing.
One of the things we needed to address is to get younger and more athletic on the wings. Being able to get a player like Adu, big shoulders, big chest, a guy that's going to play defense, that catch lobs from the corner when Luka is making paint decisions. And he's just add some physicality and athleticism to our roster.
The Lakers and Thiero couldn't be more perfect from a basketball standpoint. The Lakers desperately needed what Thiero provides: a switchable wing defense, explosive finishing, and developmental upside. With an aging LeBron James, defensively limited Luka Doncic, and a thin wing rotation beyond Rui Hachimura and Jared Vanderbilt, Thiero fills an immediate need while representing long-term value. JJ Redick's offensive system is built on movement, spacing, and analytics-driven shot selection, and this could unlock Thiero's potential in ways that previous coaches couldn't. Redick has already emphasized player development as a core philosophy, and the Lakers' track record speaks for itself. They turned Alex Caruso from an undrafted nobody into a championship contributor who earned a $37 million contract. The OKC Thunder don't win a championship without Alex Caruso this past year. They developed Austin Reeves from undrafted to a $54 million player who is averaging over 20 points per game, and it might shoot him in the foot because Austin Reeves might leave the Lakers as a result of this. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we have a separate video on that, and I'm going to leave it in the end screen for you guys to check out at the conclusion of this video. They did a remarkable job developing Max Christie as well, and he earned a 4-year, $32 million contract extension as a result of it. The South Bay Lakers have produced 55 NBA call-ups, and Redick plans to integrate the G League system more closely with the parent club. For Thiero, this means a clear development path: dominating the G League while working on his shot, earn spot minutes through defense and energy, then gradually expand his role as his skills develop. Thiero's immediate role is clear. He'll provide energy minutes off the bench, switching across positions defensively while finishing plays in transition. His ability to guard 2 through 4 gives Redick lineup flexibility, especially in playoff matchups. Offensively, he'll start as a cutter and a transition finisher, perfect for playing off of LeBron and Luka's playmaking. If the three-point shot develops to even 33 to 35%, Thiero becomes a starting caliber 3-and-D wing. Understanding why Thiero could be special requires diving deep into his unique skill set. At the most basic level, he's an athletic marvel, a legitimate 6'8" in shoes with a 7-foot wingspan, 218 pounds of muscle, and explosive leaping ability that one scout described as top 1% in this draft class. But athleticism without skill is just potential, and what separates Thiero is how he leverages that athleticism. Defensively, he's already elite by college standards. His 1.6 steals per game ranked among the best for forwards, while his ability to switch across multiple positions makes him perfect for modern NBA defense. He studies film of OG Anunoby and Drew Holiday, showing the intellectual approach that suggests continued improvement. Offensively, Thiero excels in specific areas that translate immediately to the NBA. His 63.6% finishing at the rim showcases soft touch despite his power. In transition, his 1.259 points per possession ranked in the 96th percentile. He's devastating in the open court. As a cutter, he shot 84% on an efficient 1.641 points per possession. These skills don't require development. They're NBA ready today. The comparison to OG Anunoby isn't just a hopeful projection. It's based on remarkably similar profiles. Both are 6'8" wings with 7-foot wingspans. Both were plus defenders with questionable shooting in college. OG Anunoby shot 31% from 3. Both possessed the strength and athleticism to guard up while having enough perimeter skills to defend down. If Thiero follows Anunoby's shooting development arc, then the Lakers have a potential all-defense player who can start on a championship team. Other comparisons paint different pictures of his potential. His ceiling might be Jonathan Kuminga, an athletic marvel who impacts winning through defense and transition play while developing half-court skills. His floor is probably Derrick Jones Jr., a valuable role player who provides elite athleticism and defense in specific matchups. The most likely outcome falls somewhere between a Jay Crowder or Keldon Johnson type who contributes meaningful minutes through defense, energy, and enough shooting to stay on the floor. What makes Thiero different from players like Max Christie, Austin Reeves, and Alex Caruso is his athletic ceiling. Caruso and Reeves succeeded through skill and intelligence. Thiero combines those traits with elite physical tools. If the Lakers can develop his jumper to a respectable shot and JJ Redick's shooting shooting expertise suggests that they can, they'll have found a two-way wing who fits perfectly with their stars. Now, this is me being an optimistic Laker fan. The shooting development isn't guaranteed, but the indicators are more positive than his 25.6 college three-point percentage suggests. He doubled his three-point attempts from sophomore to junior year, showing willingness to expand his game. His 68.6 free throw percentage, while not great, isn't broken. Most importantly, his work ethic, demonstrated by his dramatic statistical improvement, suggests that he'll put in the necessary hours. And even if the shot never develops, Thiero still brings something to the table. The modern NBA playoffs are won with switchable defenders who can guard multiple positions. Wings who can finish plays, rebounds, and make the right pass always have value. Energy players who can change the game's tempo coming off the bench impact winning. And Thiero does all those things at an elite level already. At the end of the day, maybe I'm just gassing up the Los Angeles Lakers pick because I'm a Laker fan, but I thought this was such a cool story after I did a deep dive and did some research into Adu Thiero. So after learning all this about the Lakers pick, let me know in the comment section down below. Did the Los Angeles Lakers make the right pick? If not, who would you have preferred them to pick? Aside from that, I don't know if you guys heard, but Austin Reeves is making a threat to the Lakers, and it's a threat that the Lakers really should take seriously. I made a completely separate video on that. I'm gonna leave it in the end screen and I'll meet you guys there. I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.